It's one of the things that when you actually go out on the stage and get a camera, all of a sudden it starts to melt away the technology, because now you concentrate on looking in the viewfinder and you start directing a shot like you direct any other shot. And then what makes the film really is the editorial verve of it, which is you only get from picking what portion of what take, and you get happy accidents when you just stage a whole scene and it goes over the length of a couple of minutes, and you might find an angle that you didn't really plan on, but it just happens because you're covering the action, and an editor takes advantage of it and cuts it in. And he's a very good editor, and he had a couple editors that you probably interviewed as well, and you find those moments, and now it feels more like a live action film, even though it's a computer generated film. And it does reflect the personality of the filmmaker, because he, as I did in mine, he photographed every moment, every cut, every concept, and obviously he had a vision of what the whole place is and how the characters are and all that stuff that he brings to it as well. But those are all part of the things that percolate when he's deciding or directing the shot. And it's not a CG handoff to a bunch of people who don't really have the same story sense he does, doesn't have the same camera work he does, or the same editorial feeling he does. It's really reflects, it's what I would call director capture, and becomes a very good tool for that kind of thing, and a very good tool for figuring out how you want to block out a scene. So there's no storyboard. There was no other concept besides the organic nature of blocking out a shot and then going, now that I blocked that out, I would cover it this way and I cover it this way, and this is an interesting angle. Let me try that. And I could try multiple angles, and as I'm doing them, they're cutting the scene, and the next day when we reviewed it with Jim, it was a completely cut sequence. With all the close-ups, all the wide shots, all the various things, all the storytelling devices that were necessary to actually tell the story like you might see it. And then you could add to it, embellish it. I don't like this. I think you need to go back and reshoot this, or I don't like this camera move, or I do, or let's cut to another close-up here. All those directorial and editorial decisions are still yet to be made, but you can flesh out a concept or an idea from nothing. Because basically what I was showing him is that you have a blank stage and next to nothing, and you're able to create the feeling of something that you then can embellish and build on. When you do things that are not in front of you, your ideas are pretty limited. That you just don't see it. If you're on a black stage, you don't think of an interesting angle because there's nothing interesting to photograph. So you need this artificial means to let your imagination grow, and that's kind of what it does.